What were your thoughts when 50 Cent blamed the second season ratings dip on gay stuff?
First of all, you know, the pot calling the kettle black is all.
People thought Soulja Boy was clowning with Marlon Wayans for a cheap laugh, but nah, this feud cracked open a vault of skeletons he's been hiding for years. What kicked off as a throwaway radio comment exploded into a full-blown scandal, ripping apart the image Soulja's been clinging to, and it's messier than the industry ever expected.
Soulja Boy, he been canceled. Nobody cares Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy better go get that check. Yeah, I don't think he had hits in.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
Everybody remembers he did that random crypto gig during Trump's inauguration weekend, and that Marlon brushed him off during a radio chat, but that's old news. What matters is why Soulja blew up like a volcano. When you're carrying secrets as heavy as Big Draco, even a light joke feels like a dagger aimed at the truth. So he jumped online, swinging, tweeting, "I can't believe I'm arguing with that dress up like a white chick. What the F is wrong with me?" But Marlon, being a seasoned comedian, wasn't about to let it slide. He flipped it back, and suddenly Soulja's polished image unraveled in real time. The laughter turned into gasps because the whispers people kept quiet about for years were now coming to the surface. Then came the receipts. William DeBoss slid onto Tasha K's podcast and laid it all out. He claimed he had a personal run-in with Soulja, even describing the condo down to the furniture.
And I loved it. I had some it was Louis, it was everything, and it was perfect. And he was like, "Take this, you white, right?" Like he kept, like he's very like into like the race play stuff. But here's the thing, I don't know if this was really him or it was like drunk him.
The bottles in the liquor stash, and tattoos nobody's ever seen in public pics. That's not guessing, that's detail you only know if you've been in the room. And if that wasn't messy enough, William wasn't the first. Stories like that had been circling for years, and Vivica Fox even dropped shade way back when that XXL cover with Soulja and 50 Cent was the talk of the town. When asked about 50 blaming ratings on gay stuff, she slipped in a coded response that hinted she knew exactly what was really happening behind those industry curtains. And Vivica isn't some rookie. She's been in the spotlight long enough to catch the real tea that never makes headlines. So now, looking at Soulja's meltdown, it doesn't read like banter. It screams insecurity. Going from chill to transphobic at light speed shows a man projecting, lashing out to hide the very things he's scared people will find out. This feud didn't just escalate. It detonated the moment Marlon fired back with that country-style diss track.
What were your thoughts when 50 Cent blamed the second season ratings dip on gay stuff?
First of all, you know, the pot calling the kettle black is all.
The second the beat dropped online, people couldn't believe their ears. Marlon rapped, "Soulja Boy is on CAC and meth. I can smell it on his breath. Yes, he's on that. Chris, it's CAC." The crowd went nuts. That track got passed around like wildfire, lighting up every group chat, bumping in clubs, and shockingly even sneaking onto radio playlists. It wasn't comedy anymore, and it was a lyrical takedown that had people saying Marlon might have missed his calling as a battle rapper. In one night, Marlon transformed from a Hollywood comedian to a viral sensation with bars that hit harder than any joke could ever land. And when TMZ caught him strolling out of a Los Angeles restaurant, he could have cooled it down, but instead, he doubled down on camera. Straight face, no hesitation. He made it clear the beef wasn't ending anytime soon. Then came Soulja Boy's disastrous move, targeting Marlon's transgender son, Kai. He sneered, "That runs in the family, huh? A Marlon Wayans. No wonder you like dressing up as a ba. It's in your blood." That wasn't just shady. It crossed a line that guaranteed all the hidden truths people kept quiet about would now come storming out.
Soulja Boy is on Krenak and meth. I can smell it on his breath. Yes, he's on that creth. It's Krenak and meth.
Because in entertainment circles, everyone knows the gossip, but they don't air it until someone forces their hand. Soulja did exactly that, and what came next shattered his tough guy act. The biggest contradiction in Soulja's brand is the difference between the fearless persona he sells and the messy reality when real drama comes knocking. Case in point, that chaotic night at his mansion. What should have been an album celebration spiraled into gunfire and a legal mess straight out of a crime series. Soulja swore masked men broke in and he turned into an action hero. But when the dust cleared, the story tangled around a man named Droop, and the two versions of what happened painted Soulja as a fraud in his own legend. Soulja told the world that masked intruders broke into his home and forced him to defend himself in a life-or-death shootout. But Droop has been flipping that story upside down in interviews, and his version exposes Soulja in ways the public never saw coming.
You can't do 2 songs, and I only remember one of them. Watch me, you. Beef with me. Get out of here.
Droop insists he wasn't some random burglar. He and his crew were tied to Soulja's label. The drama began when they showed up to his release party and heard one of their own tracks blasting, except Soulja had dropped a verse on it without asking, without paying, without even giving credit. According to Droop, this wasn't just a one-off situation. Soulja had dangled promises of production credits, features, and revenue cuts when they first linked up, but after putting in months of sweat, producing beats, crafting choreography, and feeding his shows with their creativity, they were left with nothing. No checks, no recognition, and now their work was being recycled like it belonged to Soulja alone. When Droop confronted him face-to-face, things exploded. He says he slapped Soulja twice before Soulja allegedly pulled the trigger. Droop was hit but didn't go down permanently. He fought his way into a car and ended up in the hospital. But when he opened his eyes, instead of justice, he found himself cuffed to the bed. Soulja had already run to the cops with his version, painting Droop as a masked intruder. Suddenly, Droop was staring at a 25-year attempted robbery charge, but Soulja's story had holes big enough to drive a truck through.
Put you in one of the movies. I need a crackhead for the new scary. I need a crack and a meth head all mixed together. You're perfect. I need someone that looks like a wet Muppet. That's what I need. I need crack and meth together. I need creth together. I want someone to look like they'll sell your car, rob you, and suck all at the same time. Soulja Boy.
First, he claimed there were 5 intruders. Later, it changed to 3. His descriptions of the weapons shifted depending on who was asking. None of it lined up. Enter Brian Steele, Young Thug's powerhouse lawyer. Steele dismantled the weak evidence, and the case fell apart in court. Droop ended up doing just 1 year, counting the 9 months he'd already served waiting for trial, and then came a twist. Soulja's old right-hand man, AAB, confirmed details that shook people up. Even though he wasn't cool with Droop anymore, he admitted his voice shook when recalling the so-called break-in, hinting something truly traumatic went down that night. Still, the streets keep asking the same question. Was this really a home invasion, or was it Soulja covering up dirty business practices? Because Droop wasn't the only one. Other artists have also stepped forward saying the same thing. Soulja lures them in with big promises of features, exposure, and paychecks.
My partner say, man, who the f in this crib? A-Rap passed me the bam, I look through the door. I see like 3, 4 running through the crib, all black. Mask on, running through the crib. One run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the bow, shot his ass. Bow, 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 bow. All the niggas run out the door, they run out the door. This nigga on the floor.
But when the smoke clears, they're left broke and uncredited while he uses their work to prop up his brand. To many, Soulja's empire looks less like talent and more like a scheme. Remember Soulja's wild claim about being the first rapper to launch a gaming console? The receipts showed it was just a knockoff Chinese emulator with a Soulja sticker slapped on it. Overpriced junk dressed up as innovation. Or when he flaunted photos of a massive mansion he said was his. But the internet discovered it was nothing more than an Airbnb rental. Add that to the Trump inauguration crypto stunt, where he bragged about moving for the highest bidder, and the contradictions in his brand couldn't be clearer. His whole image was built on smoke, and Marlon ripped straight through it. That's why Marlon's clapbacks cut so deep. They weren't jokes, they were reminders of how hollow Soulja's career really looked. Instead of building longevity, he kept chasing titles like the first to do this, or the first to do that, all while ignoring the fact that none of it stuck. By the time Marlon roasted him, the crowd didn't just laugh, they nodded in agreement, because everyone already knew the lies were catching up. Soulja's reaction was telling. He frantically deleted his tweets and dropped an apology. I apologize for crashing out. I just be trying to defend self, but sometimes I take it too far. Back to the music and TV shows. Love y'all.
How much do you feel the Soulja Boy owes you?
Everything he got, he owed me.
Realistically, man.
Everything. From the dances that he used to wear, to the dance move, to the clothes with the paint on it.
All of that was us.
That was us all day.
But the apology came way too late. Once you've been exposed, backtracking just looks like weakness. The audience had already moved on, shaking their heads at the desperate backpedal. And then came the moment that shifted everything. Soulja's attack on Marlon's transgender son, Kai. In entertainment, there's a silent rule. Some things are off limits until you're reckless enough to cross them. Soulja stomped right over that boundary, but Marlon, he's been nothing but proud and vocal about his support for Kai. Back in June, he posted Pride Month pics with the caption, "As a father of a child in the LGBTQ+ community, I show my support. Zero cost what people think. If I lost you, good." That's why fans crowned him Father of the Year, and that's why when this beef broke, the LGBTQ+ community mobilized instantly.
It went just like that. I said, what you gonna do with that? So I slapped him again.
Okay. And then after you slapped him again, he let off?
That's when he let off. That's when I got hit right here, in the front of my thigh.
Your Protect Kai hit trending within hours, and the brands Soulja thought were his lifeline started dropping him like dead weight. Money always speaks louder than ego, and it was saying, "We don't need you, Soulja." Meanwhile, Marlon sharpened the blade with one of the coldest lines yet. If Soulja Boy had a career, he could get canceled for this type of slander. Luckily, he ain't been relevant since 2007. Then he dropped the fatal post. "My child had top surgery and still has more chest than you." It racked up 2 million likes in no time. Proof that Marlon didn't just win the roast, he owned the entire narrative. Marlon's career is proof of longevity. From In Living Color to White Chicks to his stand-up tours today, he's built an empire brick by brick. Soulja, on the other hand, is still trying to squeeze life out of Crank That like it hasn't aged nearly 2 decades while juggling fake ventures and knockoff hustles that collapse on contact.
They paid me a bag. Obama ain't never put no money in my pocket. Kamala ain't never put no money in my pocket. Trump put money in my pocket.
That's why when this beef popped off, the contrast between them got exposed instantly. Look around. Hollywood A-listers are lining up behind Marlon, while Soulja's side is crickets. Even rappers who once dropped songs with him are suddenly acting like they forgot his number. And silence like that speaks louder than any diss track. Sponsors noticed it too. 3 major backers already pulled their money, while Soulja's streams are nosediving. Meanwhile, Marlon's bag is only growing. He's being inducted into the NAACP Image Awards Hall of Fame, in talks for new LGBTQ+ film and TV projects, and racking up millions of interactions online like it's nothing. Sure, give Soulja credit. He pioneered internet rap marketing in his era, but in this era, he got outplayed badly. Marlon turned the entire beef into a blueprint. First subtle jabs online, then photos, then the viral country diss that had the internet on fire. It wasn't random, it was strategy, and it worked. A comedian showed the world how to flip beef into branding in 2025. The takeaway? Don't pick a fight when your whole rep is built on shaky claims, and definitely don't drag a Comedy Legends kid into it, because that's when the whole industry that's been biting its tongue will finally unload on you. Marlon flipped the script into back-to-back W's. Hall of Fame recognition, fresh studio deals, and a bigger fan base than ever. Soulja, he's standing alone while his skeletons 2-step out of the closet under bright lights. So what's the scoreboard say? Marlon stays winning, Soulja keeps losing ground. Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next twist, because insiders swear more of Soulja's secrets are waiting to spill. Respect to everyone who rocked with us through this saga. Y'all are the MVPs of this ride.